Good morning, and thank you. Let's get started. So yes, as you can see, the case we are presenting today is for Finnish national broadcast company Yle, and case being Eurovision. And as you said before, let's Twitter. Who doesn't have a Twitter account here? Raise your hand. So everybody has a Twitter account. Good. So SD Breakfast and what was the other one? SD of the Year are the hashtags. And of course, feel free to put out some comments or questions. We can check it out later on. That what is the if there are silent persons who don't want to speak, they can put questions also under the hashtag. And of course, feel free to follow us on Twitter. My name is Janne Lohvansuu, and user intelligence is UI.com. And it's good to be here this morning. I'll start with a short background of user intelligence. I think the one slider of the company is norm in these events. So we started in Helsinki 2009. We are a international consultancy specializing in research, design, and also a bit of strategy work. We focus on media, telecom, and health. And as you can see, we are in a couple of countries, main offices being in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and Helsinki. We work for companies like DNA, MTV, of course, Yle, Valio, Lehdet, this kind of companies. My own background is in user research, user studies, usability. Previously I worked in Accenture, Tieto, and on the 90s I worked with key partners that then became a TJ Group, if somebody remembers, a bubble company from the 2000 and around there. So I've done a bit of user research, and now I'm the country manager or managing director of the user intelligence in Helsinki. This is our typical way of explaining the user experience cycle or user experience development. And I saw last time I was here to see the reactor presentation, and I believe that they started from the middle, so developing, optimizing, and trying out different things that happen. From my and hopefully our comrades as well, we believe that the service design is actually something that happens before. So we create understanding, we conceive the ideas, we design stuff, and then we go out and implement them. And of course, iterate that on the way forward. So this is kind of the basis that we will be discussing today about what is the cycle or what is the idea behind our service design processes. Another kind of baseline is paradigms. So we are typically dealing with larger issues than just web services or mobile services. And they are kind of, paradigms are things that are set into people's minds. They are behavioral things that people are used to do. For example, paradigm change might be like mobile phones changing to touchscreen. So it completely changed the competitor neighborhood. It changed how people operate the phones and so on. Or another paradigm change might be the Finnish post office. They are now deploying these automated boxes instead of actual offices and changing the paradigm. How do you send packages to your friends? How do you send letters and so on? So you need to understand the wider aspect of these different paradigm changes. And as a service designers, as a UX designers, we are in a lucky position because with technology we can actually help, or we can alter, or we can disrupt how people actually behave, what are their models. And that is of course awesome power to have, so good that you are taking that power and doing it in your own fields as well. And when you think of basically what does it mean for today and for this event, we are talking about broadcast, we're talking about television. So there is one paradigm changing quite a lot, quite rapidly these days. And for example, we are not bound by timetables anymore. How many of you have Netflix account? Good. How about Viaplay? Nobody. Good. How about TV-kaista, the Finnish version? Nobody? Okay. I have all of the three. My daughter is now 4 years old, and she has never seen a broadcast television show when it's coming out from the television, because we are only watching TV-kaista and these services mentioned. So that is an interesting thing to see, and quite hard for her to understand that why on earth does some kids show, why does it come only once a week, and why do I have to wait? Because on Netflix, the next show begins in 5 seconds, and bam, 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 you get those shows coming on. So that's a totally different thing. And then, of course, another question to make this a bit more interactive. So how many of you people are using mobile phones while watching TV? Quite many. Good, good. And so you have a mobile phone other hand, beer in the other hand, and television up front. I think that's the typical scenario. Good. So according to Comscore mobile marketing metrics, 86% of mobile internet users are using their devices while watching television. And it was approximately the same amount of hands as in this audience as well. And that, of course, changes pretty much how the broadcast world is behaving in the future. So the case being today, how do we empower the use of second screen, maybe a third screen, and different devices through service design to enable to change the paradigms in TV and broadcasting? And that's how we discussed, how the discussion started with Yle as well. So pretty much, or pretty many of you probably know about Yle. They are a national public service company. They have 4 television channels, 6 radio channels, quite many online services for different groups, and of course for different channels as well. And of course, one kind of a paradigm shift might be also that when taking into account of Eurovision, this was the only year that Finland actually won. So we had never before or never after won the Eurovision Awards. And Lordi was the first Finnish applicant to win the whole show. And of course, might be due to the nice looks that they got, or maybe it was the music, I don't know. But let's hope that it is a paradigm shift that will continue forever, and we will rule the charts again. Okay, let's get cracking. So first of all, when you are kind of thinking of what people do in their lives, you need to understand the big picture. And this is especially true case for the paradigm shifts, or whatever larger shifts that are going through consumers' minds. So you need to understand the whole customer journey, what they are doing, where they are doing, why, what are the motivations, and so on. And an example for Eurovision Song Contest, what is the whole journey? We can launch this meme of event hype stamina. That is, of course, nice keyword for today on Twitter. So this is widely used in broadcasting. I'm sure that you've seen Voice of Finland and other series that span throughout the half a year or maybe the whole year. And in this case, we started, or Yle started with the Uuden musiikin kilpailu, UMK, their own show that is kind of the Finnish show, how to get talent and how to narrow down the talents for Eurovision. Then there was multiple shows, UMK finals and so on, and Krist was elected. Nice. Then slowly the traction and the tension grows up. The Eurovision opening party was there, it was televisioned and so on, so it gets more and more people interested what is going on. And then, of course, at the end there is the grand prize and the Eurovision finals that then catches the rest and has the most of the hype. So this is, in a larger scale, this is what is happening and how people are engaged with the brands, with the singers, and with the different countries representing. So what happens next? Now we all know the big picture. Well, only once you understood the big picture, you are able to understand and go and dive deeper to the details, what is actually happening, and what are the specific details of customer journey. So let's dive deeper. Just to make it easy, not for you, but for this time frame, this is a simplified version. So basically, what happens before the actual event, being it final or semi-final or whatever, and what happens during the event and what happens after the event. And taking into account that people might have different mobile phones and different laptops and tablets and televisions, they want to use all of those different devices throughout the journey and during these different phases. And this is important thing to catch in mind, that not everybody is just going for the web to see results or to see when the event starts. And the kind of the conceptual idea behind the event page that we concepted is that on the one axis you have the time scale as discussed, and on the other axis you have the screen estate. So you have mobile phone, you have tablet, laptop, and so on. And the idea is to cater for all of these different devices, all of the different time frames within the same page, within the same concept. And of course, you can easily imagine that the needs of the customers are totally different with different device on different time frame. So it is kind of a multiple page idea. And yes, we should understand the context, understand the different user needs based on this matrix, so to say. So what we then did is that is of course first we had to understand that what is changing here, how is the broadcast world changing, how is these events changing the people's behavior with the different devices. Then we did loads of quick prototypes. We did rapid testing in live event, in this case being, of course, the Eurovision event. And then you just do it again. You rinse and repeat. Simple as that. So a couple of examples, how did we sketch the different stuff. This is a page how would it look before the event. And it's quite easy to see that there's this gray banner that says how many hours or days you have until the event starts. So it's kind of a ticker going downwards. And meanwhile, you are waiting the show to start. You have different video clips, different content. You have interviews, stuff like that to be presented, and to keep up the hype and maintain the event hype. Then, for example, during the event, and these are of course just as you can see quite draft prototypes. So don't think that these are the final ones. On the during prototypes, there might be like 2 tabs, meaning that do you want to watch the television show or do you want to follow it next to television? And enabling stuff like this, you can actually produce different content or serve different content to different audiences. And actually, the real concept does melt these together, so it's not user changeable. It's more like we expect you to do one or another depending on your device. Okay, so those are just quick ideas. How did we do it? And then we went to the event, and it was in Yle, Pasila. They have this iso paja, a big center, a bit like this actually. You have almost nicer one. Maybe next year the Eurovision will be held here. I don't know. So as you can see, there was lots of people. We did short tests, around 20 minutes interviews with pairs. So there were around 40 people ranging from 20 to 40 years. And of course, male and female as well. And as you can see, the group here is not your ordinary kind of bus traveler on Monday morning in Espoo. They are a bit more extreme users, and they are really enthusiastic about it. So they are really in what you are trying to do and what you're trying to sell as a concept for their minds. And that is, of course, one key thing why of course, you as well should be doing in-event testing. More about that later. And yeah, extreme users. So this was the kind of people that are coming there, and when you show them prototypes, it's a bit different than just doing focus groups. So when you observe extreme users, their needs are amplified. Might be also their looks, but at least the needs are amplified. They are more visible. They are more upfront. So it helps to find meaningful needs that are not necessarily addressed by normal people in normal circumstances, and you get better feedback. And however, the needs that these people have, they are often the same that normal people have, but it's easier to grab them, for example, being with the extreme users in the live situations. So another important aspect of being there in a live event is to actually utilize the live content. So because, for example, at least in the events and the event page concept, the actual what happens, the content that is coming through the prototype actually is pretty big deal for the end users. They don't care about the screen state, that have you done it nicely or what is the shade of the buttons. They are interested, does Krista win or not? So this is something that affects quite much of the user testing. So, you know, if Krista is moving out on the charts, people pay more attention, they might change device, they might go to television, or they will do something totally different than if Finland is losing. And this changed the testing and testing events and interviews quite radically. And of course, this radically changed how we as a designers need to think about these services. And that's why it's really important to of course, not to use Latin anymore, but also use live content, like live Twitter feeds or whatever is in your service, if it's not video. And of course, you need to have fun. So it was a nice place to be in, and there was lots of nice people. Unfortunately, we were not able to go to the Europe, or I can't remember what was the country it was in. You were not there, no? Was anybody there on the place? Might be. Sweden, okay, yeah. Well, it wasn't that far away, but we prefer the local audience. So it's good to go there and sense the feelings of people and sense the energy that is in place. And that, of course, it helps to understand the mindset and what could they need. And, well, then later on, after the event, as I said, that the repetition is a good thing. We went on with the iterations and co-creation. This is the same page template, and as you can see, it can have a different layouts or visuals. It's not the point. The point is to have the page that scales in time-wise and in device-wise. And for example, with Doc Ventures, the series is also quite long, and we are doing the user tests alongside with the live programs that are going on television. So that is really important that it is fine-tuned even it is deployed. Here's just the same website viewed on the mobile, and here you can see that the actual video content is much more upfront than it was in the previous model. And probably in the last is the RSO, the Radio Symphony Orchestra, and here's the same page concept, but totally different layouts. And of course, the RSO is a series of concerts played by professional musicians. So basically it is a series of events that will be shown live and shown in place and so on. So it's not just creating cool graphics or nice templates, but understanding the concept of how the actual events work and how people behave during those events. And I believe that this sort of thinking will help us to develop services that radically change how the websites work in future. Okay, so how to change paradigms? You need to have the energy, you need to have the enthusiasm. I know that it's quite easy to stay in the office and you have a nice espresso machine there and you are drinking the latte and thinking, oh, I need to change paradigms. But you really need to get out there and change those and get your asses up. And lions, they don't hunt by sitting down in the office. They go out to the field. I'm sure that you've seen some documentary of African wildlife. So you need to actually go there. And even the MTV's CEO, Heikki Rotko, said that they have gone out and actually sat on people's sofa and discussed with them and interviewed with them. So it's last time for you to do that as well, even if CEOs are there listening to their customers. Then, as mentioned before, you need to engage the Ethereum users and get into their mindset and make the process lively as well. So you need to think how you can engage users in their own context. You cannot go there and be, hello, I'm a boring research people, and I want to ask you some boring questions. And they're like, what the hell? I'm having a party here, for example. So you need to think the process in a bit new terms as well. Okay, almost last slide. Then we can have some good old questions. Last slide is about how did we actually then think or rethought our own process? How did we kind of change it on a meta level, and how did it affect our service design thinking? Starting from the top on the understand phase, we are now utilizing, for example, during those Doc Ventures movies, as I mentioned, we are using WhatsApp groups, the mobile apps that we invite people in to discuss about how do the site work, how do the movies work, and stuff like that. So it's live happening virtually during those movies. Then the second one, the observing and being there in the events. So you need to, and we need to go to the events more. And another case we did is Demi magazine for, I believe, 14 to 20-year-old girls, and it is really tight community, and they have a really good web service. It has around 110,000 weekly visitors, and they also have a Demi Day, so they all group together and have fun, and there's plenty of cosmetics brand to give them freebies and stuff like that. So what we did there, pretty similar. We took the prototypes, we went there, discussed, had workshops with them and understood what they like. And it is really effective way to get feedback and utilize those actual events. So it's I think the only thing that researchers would need to get more is to their hands of what are the events in Messukeskus, and just to spot that what Messukeskus events I want to be in to get that target group that I want to focus my product to. So that's quite easy. You don't even need to find them. You just go there where they are in a given time point. The last thing is to have the prototypes with live content. And as said before, it's quite easy. You have Twitter feeds. Everything is feed these days. So just put them into the prototype and make it more alive, not to have the static prototypes and not at least write lorem ipsum anywhere anymore. Probably that's not the case in anywhere. And also kind of then how to address this side. I think we are doing much more agile user testing. So we have a real-time analysis to support agile projects. So when the developers are doing something, we can produce results and have it for them in real time. And that is something quite useful to support, because if you're not in the Scrum process or Agile process, you are quite easily dumped away as a provider. So those 3 things at least are something that we learned, and we hope that we can deliver that as well to the service design community and help it move forward. Thank you. I still have 1 minute left, I can say. So thanks for having us, and let's see if we have some questions, or maybe some questions pop up in Twitter. And I hope to see you in January on the, I forgot the date, but it will be there somewhere in the social media. And follow us on Twitter, and thank you.